Really matters.
Hello, and thank you for joining me today. I'm your host, Bernie Furshpan. On today's episode of Raised by Survivor, I have a very special guest, and that would be Ghazal Mizrahi. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you so much for joining me. Now, you're in my series, Raised by Survivors, and people are probably wondering, what's your family story?
Yeah.
Your mother survived the Iranian Islamic Revolution back in the day. It's actually not that long ago.
Yeah.
But she went through a lot. We're going to talk about that, but you have quite a past and a history yourself and quite a future as well. You are a singer, a vocal and piano instructor, a photographer. You do a lot of things. You're also an activist. So we're going to talk about all of that. But let's start by explaining to our listening audience your mom's story. What did she have to undergo during this revolution, and how did she escape?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me on here. It's my greatest honor and privilege, and it's my first podcast, so I'm really excited.
Congratulations. Everybody's got to experience a podcast sooner or later.
And this is the best first podcast.
Oh, that's nice.
So yeah, I'd be really happy to tell you about my family's story. So I'm Iranian. Mm-hmm. We still like to say Persian.
Yes.
So I'm Persian-American. My sister and I are first generation born in America. And my family grew up through the Islamic Revolution in Iran. Mm-hmm. And it began around, 1979, 1980. Mm-hmm. And I specifically know a lot about what my mom went through during this time. And as a Jewish young female, to have so many rules placed on you was not easy. So as a young girl, she was forced to wear a hijab. She wasn't allowed to have her nails long, painted. She wasn't allowed to wear makeup.
So even Jewish citizens of Iran at the time, they also had to wear the hijab.
Yeah.
They were forced to wear it.
They were forced to wear a hijab. So she told me once this one story of how her teacher had to smack her hand with a ruler because one time her nails were too long.
Wow.
And she lived through this, and she finally escaped. She had to be smuggled out of Iran through the border around 1990. And she came to the free land of America to start a new life. Mm-hmm.
Well, God bless him. What about your grandmother? Was this imposed on her as well at that time?
Yeah, for sure. Having to raise young children through this was definitely not an easy thing, and I'll never be able to understand and feel her struggle. And, my grandmother is actually a singer. She has the most beautiful voice that you'll ever hear. And she's the reason I sing. She gave me my voice.
So she influenced you?
100%.
Yeah. And is she still alive?
Thank God she is.
Oh,
Thank
wonderful.
God.
And she
hopefully
still
for
sings?
many more years. She still sings.
Oh, that's
she sings
wonderful.
all the time.
Have you ever performed with her?
Thank God I have. I've been so blessed to have the opportunity to perform with her. Actually, for my graduating recital, I studied vocal performance in college. We have a big concert at the end of the year, and I brought her on to do an incredible song called Jane Maryam. It's one of my favorite Persian songs, and she taught it to me. So it was the most special moment of the night.
When did you realize that you wanted to sing? What age and how far back can you remember that you said to yourself, I'd love to sing, or you just started to sing naturally?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of people ask me that, and I really have to think about it. Ever since I was little, music just naturally came to me. Growing up in a Persian household, you're surrounded by such beautiful, rich cultural melodies. I was really blessed and privileged to grow up in a home that respected culture so much. And I think because of that, it's just ingrained in me. I was always singing as a young girl, having little fun singing shows with my friends in elementary school. And I think middle school, high school, you start to think about what am I going to do for the rest of my life? And of course, there were so many things I wanted to do and so many ways I wanted to help and give back to the world. But the number one thing that I could never say no to was music. And so for me, like when it came to applying to college, it was not even a question what I wanted to do. Like it's music and that's it. And I know it's, seen as a tough field to go into, but I think my love for it was so strong and my faith in God was so strong, even as a young age, before I really, learned about the meaning of believing in God. Like there was always that sense of belief. Like I know that I'm meant to do this.
When you went to college, did you find it difficult to share your culture with other students, especially when it came to the arts and music and singing? Were you able to integrate your culture into your singing experience and education?
That's such a good question. So I went to Adelphi University. There's not such a big Jewish community there. And I'm not sure if there were many Persians there, but thankfully I was surrounded by people who were like really open to learning about my culture and my faith. Nice. I grew up very diverse, friends from all different backgrounds and all different religions. And I always invited my Christian friends, my Muslim friends over for Shabbat dinner, and they loved it. They loved the prayers, they loved the melodies, and most of all, they loved the Persian food. Thankfully I was given the opportunity to be able to not just sing songs in English, but in every language and in Farsi as well.
Recently, you were invited to sing Hatikva in Hostage Square in Israel. Tell us about that experience and why it was special.
Yeah. Wow. So since October 7th, my purpose for singing has always been beyond just sounding good, you know? The reason I sing is to be able to share a message, to make people feel something, and to help, people heal. And since October 7th, my purpose has grown so much deeper. I've been so privileged to be able to sing for the family members of the hostages at lots of events in New York. And I was invited this summer to be the first American to sing Hatikva at Hostage Square. And
it's quite a privilege.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even explain to you like how it felt standing up there. Because there are some concerts you do and, you get really nervous and you want to sound your best and you want to put on the best performance. Like, I have to sound good. But then there are some performances, in a singer's life where it's not about you. And I'm standing up there and almost all the family members of the remaining hostages, there were 50 at the time, were standing there and looking up at me. And I'm thinking like, what is my purpose standing here? Is it to put on a great performance? Do I have to worry about all my notes? Or is it that I hope my voice in this moment can help people feel some sort of peace and strength?
I find that music and the arts unites people, whether it's song or dance. It unites them, it heals them. How can we incorporate more music in people's lives to do that? We need to heal this world. We kind of forgot that we're all related.
Yeah.
And we've gotten down this rabbit hole, and all we're focused on is the differences. It's gotten so wildly out of hand that eventually I think it will swing the other way. The pendulum always swings the other way. It always does. To a certain point, people can tolerate so much of hatred. We got to bring the love back to the world. How do you think music can do that? Or what do we need to do?
That's such a good question.
I know it's a tough one.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some kind of a campaign to do this. It's more than just fighting the haters.
Yeah.
It's a lot about fostering empathy, talking about love, of our, cousins. Really, we're all related.
We really are.
Yeah.
That's a lovely question. And music, it is the universal language.
Yeah.
It's the one language. My college professor said this in one class and it stuck with me forever. It's truly a language, music. I mean, you can connect with everyone throughout the world, regardless if they even understand the meaning of the words you're saying.
Right.
It's so much more than that. And right now, there's so much hate. And, there's people on different sides fighting each other and thinking that the yelling and the screaming and the fighting is going to do anything. But at the end of the day, it just creates a bigger flame.
It does. It does.
And
people are not listening to each other.
They're not,
just yelling.
They just want to get their voice out.
Yeah.
And it feels good in the moment. I'm sure it does. And, I've been there and it does feel good. And then you look back and you're like, what did that do to help the world? But music, now that's something that can really heal. And there's so many different ways to go about it, putting on a cultural program in places where people don't have the access to be able to listen to live music or are not surrounded by it so often. I see the impact that it has on people. Sometimes I'll sing for a crowd. They're like, I've never heard that song, or I've never, seen it performed this way. And I see like the effect that it has on them. And, it's everything stays with you.
So there's a great program called Eurovision.
Yeah.
Right? The foundation is what we're talking about. It's about bringing people together from different cultures and sharing song and lyrics and love. And yet politics found its way into it.
Yeah. And
what a shame that is. But somehow people manage to they call them disruptors. To disrupt this cause. It's a beautiful cause. But people are easily swayed by these supposed causes. And hopefully we all wake up to this and start pushing back and saying, look, this is a space where we all connect.
Yeah.
This is a space where we all heal. This is not your space. Keep politics out. Too many artists bring in politics. Musicians and singers bring politics to their concerts.
It's really heartbreaking.
It is. And they push back or they push away half their audience.
Yeah. That's exactly what just happened with Chris Martin at the Coldplay concert. Did you see the video?
Yes.
And I love his music. I grew up listening to him.
Right.
Huge fan.
Now you feel differently about him.
It's sad because I really don't want to.
Yeah.
But it really broke my heart seeing the way that he treated those two Israeli girls as foreign aliens on that stage. It was really heartbreaking.
Yeah. And they shouldn't really incorporate politics
Yeah.
with the arts. They just don't. It's like oil and water. It just doesn't mix.
I agree. So I know we're here at the Holocaust Memorial Tolerance Center, and I want to share a story with you.
Yes.
When I was a little girl, I went on a Hebrew school field trip. I believe it was here, and it was to see Irving Roth speak.
Yes.
And I was very young, and at that age, you start to develop a sense of, what's going on in the world and closeness to God, but you're still very young and you're not fully developed in that area. But hearing him speak, even at the very young age that I was, it just struck something within me. And I knew from a young age that this is something that cannot be forgotten. The importance of Holocaust education, I knew to the day I die, it's something that I need to share. It's my responsibility and it's our responsibility. And hearing him sit there and speak, a beautiful man who has gone through the unimaginable and is now sitting there so confidently in front of all of us sharing his story, the way it penetrated me as a young girl, I knew, we have a responsibility. And I think hearing him speak that day, has made a big impact on me and my career.
That's wonderful to hear. That was at least 10 years ago.
It was long. It was a lot longer. I think it was 15.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, he was one of the founders here and one of the original Holocaust survivors and very much loved and influenced a lot of people, not just yourself, but many were influenced. In fact, I believe that the director of education here at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center was influenced by him. She kind of adopted him.
Wow.
And she was, smitten by the passion that he had in telling the story and the things that he went through. And so I think we all have our own stories, right? Everybody has their story. But to join a family of people to educate young people today, I mean, that is an incredible mission to be revered. I'm here because my father was the only survivor in a family of 8 people.
Wow.
And he lived in a forest for 3 years, from age 10 to 13. I can't imagine surviving, this unbelievable experience that he had, that he shared with me, that he was hunted like an animal, and they killed his family, his parents, his brothers and sister. So everybody has their story. So I find that it's a moral obligation to tell young people that this is how low we can go as a society. What can you do to make it better? Really, that's what it boils down to, right?
Wow.
It's not about who's right, who's wrong. Right now, let's put that aside. Let's fix this world because it's broken.
Let's just come together.
We have to.
I can't imagine how devastated you must have been on October 7th.
My father's not around. And if he was, and my mother too, if they were around, I think they would be horrified. They would be mortified as to what is going on around the world.
How is this
They
happening
thought it's
again?
over,
Yeah.
but I think they would be in shock. And we have Holocaust survivors here who are in shock, who can't believe that we're going through something like this. It's like a page taken right out of the 1930s with the propaganda and the hatred.
The craziest part is that it's written in the Torah that time and time again they're going to try to eradicate us.
Right.
And they're never going to succeed because they don't know how strong and resilient the Jewish people are.
They are. We are the product of this resilience. There were so many massacres and genocides and pogroms and the Holocaust that we are like the best of the best that survived. Somehow we managed to pull through. So we carry the genes of all the survivors. It's an incredible story. And my heart breaks for all the people that suffered. To me, the most horrifying of the Holocaust that I talk about is the children. That there were 1.5 million children that were killed. This was the most targeted group. 1.5 million Jewish children. 1.5 million Jewish children is the entire population of Nassau County.
Wow.
If you can wrap your head around that. Imagine from the North Shore to the South Shore, from Route 110 all the way to the Queens border, every person in Nassau County was a child. They were all marched to their death, and not in the nicest way. It's just amazing that people, good people, regular, ordinary people can do extraordinary things, either very good or very bad. But those that cooperated were willing to do the most atrocious and heinous acts in human history, especially to children. So, on that note, we want young people to know, Generation Z, right? Gen Z, we can stoop this low. We can go to this level. So whatever you're saying now, right, that's political, that's filled with hatred and vile, that's how it started in 1930. You have to stop it right there because if it continues, it only leads to violence, obviously.
Yeah, and we saw it happen.
Yeah, we did.
We saw it happen.
We did.
And it's so crazy how you speak the number 1.5 million.
Yeah.
But that's a big number.
It's
and
a
I
big
don't
number.
think people realize it because the amount of times we've spoken the word 6 million over and over again.
Right.
Do people ever really close their eyes and realize that's a big number?
Huge.
And that happened. It happened. And it happened to our ancestors, to your family members.
Yep.
Who's to say that, God forbid, it can't happen again?
6 million is not a massacre. It's a full-blown universal genocide called the Holocaust. It is the entire population of Brooklyn plus Queens plus Nassau County. That's a lot of people. And so it wasn't a nut job running around with an AK-13, shooting people. This was methodical. It was systematic. It was industrial. It was in camps where people were gassed and killed. And in the small villages, they were shot. Like about 10 to 20,000 people a day. This was a machine. It was a killing machine, basically. It's a terrible thing. We don't want to ever see that. We never want to see a government have this kind of power. That's the whole thing.
Yeah. And that's why it's up to us. There's 15 million Jews left in the world.
Yeah.
It's a small number.
It is. We still haven't rebounded the full population of the Jewish population that was around the world back before the Holocaust. We're just about getting close to it, but we haven't fully rebounded after 80 years.
Wow.
It's kind of sad, And we have a lot to contribute. Every culture has their thing to contribute, right? I like to travel because I like to see what our cousins are up to.
Yeah.
And every culture has something that's unique and special. If I had to eat burgers every day, that would be pretty boring, right? I like my Asian food and my South American food, you know what I'm saying? And I love my European food. I love all of it. That's the beauty of humanity, is that we're each kind of like each culture is a spoke in the wheel to make it so complete. And so it's nice that we see everybody else's perspective. I think if people have an open mind and listen to their perspective, other people's perspective, I think they would maybe be a little bit more empathetic.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
And I think opening the room for peaceful conversation, it really works wonders. I post a lot of my singing and music on TikTok. And, since October 7th, it's been a lot of horrible comments and death threats.
Wow.
But recently, I've been getting, some really nice messages from the opposing side, but peaceful messages, and they want to have peaceful conversations.
Yes.
And it's really given me a lot of hope.
That's beautiful. Wow, I hope this continues. That
I
trend
really do so too. Yeah.
keeps going in that direction. That would be a wonderful thing. So, what would you like to see changed in this world so that young people will start shifting in a positive way?
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, I hope that everyone who is watching this, I hope that you will never be ashamed of your faith, regardless if you're Jewish, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist. I hope that no matter what goes on in the world, you won't feel like you have to hide your faith. That's number one. I really hope for a future where we can have peaceful conversations, where we realize that violence is not the answer to solving the problems of the world, where there is more music.
Of course.
Like you said.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that in the world of Judaism, what is more important is not feeling like we have to fight the violence and fight anti-Semitism. What's more important is continuing to spread our light and continuing to believe in Hashem and carry forward, the goodness that is written in the Torah and in us. And that's how we're going to make the biggest impact.
Beautifully said. Thank you so much, Ghazal Mizrahi.
Thank you, Bernie.
I hope you guys are looking her up on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. Please follow her. She's an incredible human, and she's doing amazing things, and she just wants to see people getting along, mending the wounds, healing the world, and living in peace together, finally, right?
Amen.
Yeah, so, well, thank you all for joining us today. And for our listeners, I appreciate all of your support. I'm your host, Bernie Furshpan, of Raised by Survivors here on HMTV at the Holocaust Memorial and Tolerance Center. Until next time.